Sales Studio, featuring our host, Bob Perkins.
Hi, welcome to AA-ISP's Inside Sales Studio. This is Bob Perkins, your host. This series is on women in sales and women in leadership, and I'm so happy today to have Amy Appleyard with us. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Amy is the Vice President of Sales at Staples and has been an AA-ISP member for a number of years, and it's great you're with us today. Amy, why don't we just start out with give the audience a little bit of background about yourself and your career, if you could.
Absolutely. So I've been with Staples for about 7 years now, almost 8 years, and the last 6 of that have been with the sales organization. So it's Staples Business Advantage, and we service B2B customers. My teams in particular service the mid-market customers. But I've held a variety of roles at Staples. I started in a pure finance role and then moved into strategy, did a little stint in marketing, back to strategy, and then ultimately ended up in sales management, which I love. And prior to working at Staples, I did a whole bunch of different things. I was a small business owner and also did some other entrepreneurial ventures, and my first career was in the arts. So that's I have a little bit of a varied past, and it has led me to this fantastic career in sales management.
Well, that's great. Appreciate you sharing that with us. It sounds like you've worn a lot of hats and been doing a lot of different things, a lot of different departments. How has some of your wide variety of experience, how has that sort of added to your role where today you're leading people, right?
Yeah, good question. I think for me in particular, wearing a variety of different hats here at Staples has really helped to just expand my network. I've always challenged myself to try things, new things, and when I was asked, for instance, to move into a marketing role, I reminded folks that I didn't have marketing on my resume anywhere, but was happy to kind of step into something that maybe I didn't feel 100% confident doing, but knew that I would succeed because I had a great network that I had built around me to help me with that. Same with moving into sales management. I had never led teams of kind of the size and scope of what I am currently leading, but I knew that I had built a strong foundation for success here at Staples, and we have an excellent leadership team and a lot of growth potential for folks, and so I knew that there were resources that I could tap into to help me, and I also knew a lot of the sales teams already and knew that we would be successful together.
That's great. You know, part of what we want to talk about is women advancing in their career. And I heard you made a comment just a minute ago. You said when you were asked to take marketing, you didn't have that on your background, and maybe you didn't have 100% confidence in it. And one of the themes that I've heard come out of some of the women panel discussions at the AA-ISP conferences is this idea that sometimes a woman, if she feels she only has 50% or something less than 80% of the required skills and experience for a job, they may not apply, yet men could have 20% of the required skills and experience, and they go ahead and apply. Can you talk to that at all?
Yeah, I love that stat. I've heard that too. I mean, the research definitely shows that men maybe have 30, 40, 50% of the skills and they will absolutely raise their hand and apply for something. Women tend to wait until they are 100% ready, everything ticked and tied. For me, I'm always willing to kind of push myself and go out on that ledge. And I encourage a lot of other folks to do that as well, not just women, but mostly women, because I think a lot of people really do wait until they feel like they are absolutely ready. And sometimes you just miss an opportunity to demonstrate something that a skill or something that you might not have realized that you had. So I talk a lot to my teams and to the women in my network here at Staples, who I'm always encouraging to try new things, about just jump off that ledge and build your wings on the way down, because you probably will fly.
Yeah, that's some really good advice, Amy. Let's talk about leading people, right? You earlier in your introduction, you said you love leading. You love the role you're in now. Talk to us about what do you like about it, but also, you know, are there some challenges that you faced, and even are there any failures along the way that happened to you on your way up to this leadership role?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I try to turn everything that you would maybe consider a failure or might weigh you down into some kind of a positive. So I had mentioned that I was an entrepreneur, and just prior to coming to Staples, I actually owned a small business venture, a retail venture. I had I started the business with a colleague, and we took it really as far as we could go. We had a very successful small business, but we were hoping to license and franchise the concept and turn it into something quite a bit bigger. But with the skill set that we had and the funding that we had been able to raise, we really took it as far as we could go. It was the hardest thing in the world to kind of undo that business and take it apart. But at the same time, it's what helped me to find a new industry that I loved. So my first career was in the arts. This then turned my eyes toward retail and to sales. Yeah. And that's how I ended up at Staples. So I never would have come here had I not had that small business venture and done a lot of kind of networking and getting to know folks in the Boston area and recognize that Staples is what it is. That's how I came to Staples. So I think while we weren't able to take that company as far as we had wanted to, it definitely launched me into a new industry and a new career, and I've been just nothing but happy since then.
That's fantastic. One door closes, another opens. You know, I got a degree. In fact, I got my master's degree in education, so I was a teacher for 4 years. I love to teach. People ask me, why didn't I continue to teach, or why wasn't I successful? And I said, well, I taught 8th graders. And, you know, they kind of just drove me out of my career. But no, seriously, that career wasn't quite my calling. And like yourself, I feel I've found a calling in leading and building teams and so on and so forth. Okay, let's go ahead and I'd like you to share just a few top tips to the women that are watching this episode here around what can they do tactically or strategically to really advance their career. And let me just back up and say, one, we have a severe shortage of mid to senior level executives like yourself. We have a shortage in inside sales because we've grown so fast. We've outgrown the ability to keep people moving up the career ladder, if you will. We have a big shortage. In particular, you know, we have a male-dominated mid to senior leadership level. So we're all about trying to promote, advance, and find more women to take this role. So let's have you share some tips with the audience, if you would.
Yep. Well, so for me here within our sales organization at Staples Business Advantage, we've been doing some real soul searching and digging deep and trying to start conversations kind of post lean in, right? Start conversations with women to figure out why they aren't raising their hand more. Okay. I don't think it's all because they feel like they're waiting to be 100% ready. I think there's probably some other factors. And we have some discussion groups that have started where it is VP all the way down to the associate level. We've got every level represented and really just want to hear people kind of share their experiences. I think a lot of what we're finding is that mentoring of young women and getting them to feel like they're more confident and ready, or at least willing to try managing people or raising their hand for a management position is huge. So we are starting a lot of little pockets of mentoring, and it doesn't even have to be something formal, but the discussions are certainly leading to that. The most interesting thing that has come from this, though, is that a lot of men in the organization are asking, like, well, why are you doing that? Why are you starting these conversations? And they're wanting to get involved as well, because it's just as eye-opening I think, for folks to understand the woman's perspective as well as the man's. I also think that I tend to encourage people not necessarily to think of work and life as something that has to be in perfect balance. I don't think of them as two separate things that have to be like on a scale that you balance. I think it all blends together. Right. My first career in the arts, I worked in theater, and there was just incredible merging together of your personal with your professional life. Phone would ring all hours of the night, and it could be a friend or it could be somebody work-related, but chances are it was somebody work-related who you were also friends with. And when I first found the sales organization and started working here within Staples Advantage, it felt very similar to me, that the personal and the professional did merge together, and I liked that. I liked how that fed into my kind of commitment to the other folks that I work with. And that's something that I would just continue to encourage in sales. I think there's a lot of people who are willing to take risks, and I think you just need to kind of seek those people out and encourage them to keep going further. And also not to necessarily think of it as the total divide between your personal life and your professional life. I've been the beneficiary of just great I've had the benefit now of working in sales, of recognizing that you can take a little bit of time away when you need to, if you schedule in advance, to go to maybe a ballet recital of one of your children, or make it to that soccer game, or even coach soccer, as long as you can kind of schedule everything appropriately. So I think sales offers something wonderful in that regard.
And I think too, with the advent of mobile technology, video technology, like what we're doing right now, the ability to work virtually, remotely, work from home, that does help allow flexibility. I don't know if do you see that at Staples as well?
Yes.
Good.
Definitely. So I work out of our home office in Framingham, Massachusetts, but I have teams of inside sales folks in Detroit and in Orlando, and then I also have some field sales reps that are all over the country in 25 major metro markets, and we are on WebEx webinars all the time. It is very helpful just to get some of that face-to-face interaction, but you feel like you're there. So I think that has definitely lent itself to some increased ability to manage teams and to manage teams remotely if you can get some of the face-to-face interaction through technology.
Excellent. So you shared some good points there. And I think the challenge I'd like to put out to the community, especially to leaders like yourself at the director, VP level, whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. The challenge is this: let's start those conversations, right? Let's start those discussion groups. Let's support mentorship, right? Whether you're a man or woman, let's find folks that want to advance their career. Let's talk to them, start the discussion. Let's specifically, if there's some women in your organization, let's make sure we support their advancement. The AA-ISP is right behind women advancing their careers, especially in inside sales leadership. And in fact, we support a group called Women Sales Pros. You may have heard of the group.
Yep.
We're going to be participating in all the AISP events. We're going to put on women panel discussions. We're going to keep this, this agenda alive, if you will. Part of this, our new Inside Sales Studio, we're starting off with the Women in Sales and Leadership series. We really appreciate you being on. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave with the viewers before we sign off here?
I guess I would just continue to say, for any women who think they might be interested in a career in sales management, raise your hand. Raise your hand before you think you're ready. If nothing more, you'll learn a lot about yourself in the interview process, and hopefully establish a mentor relationship with whoever it is that you have interviewed with. That's often happened to me with some of the folks who've applied for positions within my organization. And then just keep reaching for more, and finding groups like Women Sales Pros, finding groups of other folks, not necessarily within your organization, but maybe in the same town, or people that you can connect with virtually or through blogging or online or something, because we really do have each other's backs. And I appreciate all of the support of the AA-ISP. I've met some phenomenal women sales leaders through the organization at the different conferences and various events, and feel like it has helped me to grow personally and professionally as well. So love the support that you guys are offering to all of us.
Well, that's great, Amy. What a great tip. This is going to stick with us. Raise your hand, right?
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Put your hat in the ring. We need more women in leadership positions, and it's a goal we're going to try to achieve in the next few years. Amy, thanks so much. We appreciate it. All the best with 2016 and Staples. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.